Welcome back to the Flight Simulator First Officer channel. Today we're out here in the awesome Phoenix Airbus A320 to do a brief demonstration of FSFO's ability to act as a co-pilot from a cold and dark all the way to shutdown state. Before we get started, just a brief disclaimer that this is still a work in progress and we may encounter some bugs along the route, if you will. If we do, similar to the PMDG 737, I'll be sure to get these fixed before releasing this profile, which I hope to do in the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay, my hope is that most of you are familiar with FSFO now. So again, this demonstration will focus on FSFO's ability to manipulate the controls of the Phoenix Airbus A320. So the first thing I want to do is connect FSFO to the simulator, and since I'm not using Auto Connect, I'm going to use the manual approach by clicking this power button right here. As you can see, FSFO is starting the WASM module, and the Copilot is now ready as it returned the DLL version along with the FSAP UIPC version, and it also downloaded my flight plan from SimBrief. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and ensure that the flight plan downloaded correctly. I'll just do a brief look through now. KBGR, yep, runway 15. We want a altitude of 30,000 feet. All this other information I will fill in later as we progress through the programming of the MCDU. Again, if you have the option for the Copilot to configure the FMC during pre-flight, you must have a SimBrief flight plan downloaded. This is where FSFO gets the bulk of the information to go ahead and enter into the MCDU. And as you can see, I am using that option today. All right, so let's go ahead and close my briefing. One other thing, though, I want to bring to your point. You can see the packs right here. This is the passengers that are loaded for or that are scheduled for today's flight from Bangor International to Boston. It's 125. Again, FSFO gets this information directly from SimBrief. You can obviously enter manual inputs into any of these if you so choose, but this isn't relevant right now. However, FSFO has a pack simulation that's coming here in the next couple weeks. In fact, I can show you a little bit of it right here. Excuse the crudeness of this, but this is literally what I just did today. So much more to go. But essentially, that this PAX will be used to start the boarding process, along with giving you several simulation options for PAX. It will also score your flight and keep it into a database. So lots of stuff coming down the road for FSFO. Obviously, this will all be free as a core component of the simulation, but that's coming down the road. But it's in there now, but not relevant until the PAX simulation is fully up and running on this FSFO platform. Okay, so the flight plan looks good. I'm going to go ahead and set my auto flow options. I'm going to set that to yes. Again, I have this set to 30 seconds. This is, again, configurable right here, pre-flight flow delay. And if I didn't have my auto connect set to no, then I would use this 30 seconds to do exactly what I just did. Check the flight plan. You can see the auto connect option is here. If you have that set to yes, you don't need to hit the green button. The only disclaimer is that is you don't connect or start FSFO until you are in the cockpit. I'm going to go ahead and set a whole bunch of
Good
things
afternoon, Captain.
to the wrong setting, so you can watch the co-pilot go ahead and perform his safety checks, which is the first thing you should do. There you go, the wipers. He works down into flow pattern. The throttle set. There you go. He saw the selector, and the flaps went up to 0. So set the aircraft, performed the safety check perfectly. He's now going to go ahead and connect the external power. He just turned the batteries on and the external power on, and now we're going to wait 30 seconds, or excuse me, 40 seconds for the aircraft to do its self-test. Once the power is established, he would then turn on the internal lights, interior lights. If it was nighttime, he would set those so you don't have to use your flashlight to stumble around the panels if it was night. After he does that, he's going to go ahead and move in an up pattern. You're going to watch him just do the flow, the recommended Airbus flow, so you can kind of watch along as he sets the crew oxygen. There we go. There's the crew oxygen going on. The ground control switch is now on, so you can contact ground. And now the aiders are going to the nav position or line. He's going to come down here, set the nav position. The strobe lights went to auto. Passenger signs are going on. There's the emergency light is now armed. Checking to make sure the probe heat is off. Setting the air conditioning panel, as you can just see, he set that. Altimeters are being set, 2994. And he's coming down the panel, going to the radios. Now he's checking the systems, checking to make sure the oil pressure is good. If it wasn't, you would get a notification. Checking to make sure the oxygen is good. Again, you would get a notification if it's not. It's coming down, and he's going to look at the transponders to make sure the panel's all set. And then he's going to go ahead and start programming the MCDU. So first thing he's going to do is he's going to go into the AOC to request the flight data from SimBrief, which he is doing now. And again, 6 seconds. There's a little bit of threshold here. Everybody's internet connection's not the same, so it might take a little longer to download the flight plan on other individuals' machines. Okay, so there we go. You just check the data to make sure that we have the current nav data. As you can see, we do. And then he'll get into the age page. He just requested to download the flight plan from SimBrief. Again, if you're using that program FMC pre-flight option, you must generate a SimBrief flight plan. That's where Fsfo gets all this data. You can see he's entering the flight number now. He will enter the cost index in a little bit after the flight number, and then he's going to hit that cruise altitude of flight level 3000, which we just did. You can't really see a good angle from here, but the cruise index should be 9. Again, Fenix is awesome. It has 3D display, so it's pretty cool. There's Fsfo, just made the win request. Again, this is all online, so obviously you'll need an internet connection to facilitate this programming as well. Okay, so the win request was just completed. The next thing he's going to do is he's going to load the fuel in the payload. Again, this is an advanced option that I will show you how to do here in just a little bit. So there's the fuel that we said would load it. Now he's loading the zero fuel rate. And then we want to pay attention to our center of gravity because we're going to need this number here in a little bit. So it's 28.2. We're going to need that number, that center of gravity, 28.2.
Heading out for my checks.
Okay, so now the Copilot just went out for his checks, and as the pilot, you do have some culpabilities, responsibilities as it relates to the MCDU. The only thing you have to do is select the SIDS, the stars, and your arrival and departure runways, and I'm going to do that now, as well as clear any discontinuities. So I'm going to go in, hit my departure airport, and there's runway 15. Again, that's what we saw when we looked at the data from here, when we verified that here, runway 15, so we know that's our departure runway. Bangor 4 departure. We're going to go ahead and insert that. Then we're going to go into Boston. We see runway 22 Lima is our arrival runway today. We're going to go ahead and set that. Ocean 5 arrival, and then Kennebunkport transition. Set that. Okay, so this is the second thing you have to do as the pilot flying. You have to clear any discontinuities. If you don't clear this discontinuity, once this aircraft gets to AJ, it would just fly off. It would no longer follow the line that you'll see here when the IRS will hear a line. So all you have to do is hit clear, and then hit the associated key, and then it will clear that discontinuity out. Now, any discontinuity after a manual entry cannot be cleared out. These exist for a reason. Essentially, what this is telling the pilot is that there'll be ATC, air traffic control instructions, to intersect this intersection point right here. So that's why that in there. Bangor 4 departure is an ATC vector departure, which is why that's set to manual. And even if you try to clear that out, you cannot. It's there for a reason. So we'll go down. Again, you do not have to worry about clearing any discontinuities after manual. See, there's another one. So this is the arrival. Essentially, this is telling the co-pilot, or excuse me, the pilot flying, that they'll get ATC heading after they pass this intersection point right here to intercept the Wayne intersection. So the flight plan looks good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over here to the electronic flight bag. Again, the Fenix Airbus is sophisticated, but once you get the hang of it, especially with FSFO's help, it's super easy, and probably one of the best hand-flown aircraft I've flown since the Level D 767 for both FSF 2004 and FSX. So what I'm going to do here, guys, and I'm just going to import my flight plan. This is again the flight plan from SimBrief. We saw that our co-pilot already entered all this data into the MCDU. There is one number that you have to pay attention to. That is the takeoff weight. You can see it's 136.4, and then if you remember the center of gravity, I told you to remember that too was 28.2, and you can always get that by just going back to the fuel page, and there it is right there. The center of gravity is 128.2. You see the gross weight 136.9. We're going to burn 500 pounds essentially on our taxi out, which will bring our takeoff weight to 136.4. So those numbers are important or relevant because we have to go in and we have to configure what's our V speeds, right? So what we want to do is go into takeoff weight, excuse me, and hit 136.4. It's 136. That's our takeoff weight, and then remember we said 28.2. So there's our the data that we need to configure our V speeds. Don't forget you have to go ahead and synchronize your weather data, and then you hit calculate. Oh, invalid entry. Some entries were. Oh, okay. Looks like it didn't put the 2 in there. I must have deleted that. Yeah, there we go. Let's try that again. Okay, here we go, calculating the data, and there's our V speeds, our flaps, and then our flex temperature. So now I can come in here and I can enter my initial altitude. I am going to use a SID, that's the departure arrival, and I'll show you why that's relevant later. Flaps are 2, that's right here, flaps 2. Don't worry about takeoff. This is for Boeing aircraft. This would be for the PMDG 737, so you don't need to worry about that. I want my packs on for takeoff, so I'm going to leave that set to on. I'm going to set this to 28.2, which is this number right here that we took from the MCDU down here. And then I'm going to set my flex to 68. And then my V speeds to 133, 133, and 136. So there's all set. This is all the information that your co-pilot needs to enter what's called the init B page. So let me go ahead and come out to our checklist setting, and since I'm all done that, I'm just going to wait for the extra minute for the IRS to align. And while I'm doing that, I want to show you the option that we talked about earlier. Do you remember when the co-pilot entered the fuel and the payload weight for us? That's this advanced setting right here. Load fuel payload for Fenix aircraft equals 1. If you don't want to have your co-pilot set that via the MCDU, just type 0. Replace the 1 with a 0, and then they would not do that for you. Some people ask me to do that, some of the beta testers, because the Fenix actually has a pack simulation that its own that you can use via the electronic flight bag here. I'm not going to use that, but it is here, and if you want this to load your fuel and your payload via EFPG, just set that advanced setting to 0. I prefer not to do that. I prefer just to set it by the MCDU, but it's entirely up to you. Again, FSFO is a highly configurable co-pilot by design. All right, so let's go ahead now that the IRS is aligned, and you can see we have a good flight plan. I'm going to go ahead and hold Control and Alt, and that will tell the Copilot to terminate his walk around, and then you're going to see him go ahead and do the init or program the init B page.
Aircraft is good to go.
Okay, so now he's going to come in, and then he's going to do the copy the flight plan. He just copied the flight plan into the secondary flight plan. He's checking the radio settings. They all look good, so we're good there. And now he's going to go ahead and enter the zero fuel weight that we had inputted into the brief page that was downloaded from SimBrief. And you remember we put the center of gravity, so 28.2. Again, this data is only relevant if you have the Copilot option to program the FMS or MCDU during pre-flight. There's the block fuel going in, and you can see all the relevant data is in there. Now the Copilot's going to come back, and he just set the flaps to 2, and then the flex temperature to 68, and now he's going to set the V speeds to 133, 133, and 136, I believe. Again, the Copilot doing the all the programming of the MCDU for you, or at least 95% of it. There we go. Now he's going to come in, and he's going to hit the transition altitude, which is, since we're in North America, is 18,000 feet. And now he's going to go ahead and check the data to make sure that it's accurate. Looking for messages. There were no messages received. Then he'll come out and he'll check the legs page to make sure that all the data was inputted correctly. Okay, now we're going back to the performance page, and he's up here setting the FCU. Do you remember we said the initial altitude was 8,000? So that's what he just set the altitude to. So a bit of a disclaimer here, similar to the PMDG 737. That is actually fixed now, but I'm waiting for the new release of FSU IPC. I don't have the ability to read these displays. So I've asked Fenix, the team over at Fenix, if they would provide that, and they said they would consider it for a future release. So the only thing you can do is set the altitude via voice. You can't set speed, and you can't set heading. You can say manage mode, manage heading, open climb, and those things just fine. It's just anything to do with these numeric values up here cannot set at this time, except for the altitude. Now, disclaimer on the altitude. I had to kind of do a hack here, so you can only set the altitude if you don't manipulate the button yourself via a mouse, or if you're, well, I don't even think there is a SPAD next or a control, because again, I don't think anybody can read these variables right here. So that's the one limp act, if you will, for FSFO and the Fenix. But since it's often in manage mode, you see dash dash, it's not really that big of a deal for the Fenix aircraft. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we have all of our pre-flight flow completed. I'm going to go ahead and run the pre-flight checklist, and similar to the other, I'm going to use button mode for this one, and then before start checklist, I'll use the voice mode.
Preflight checklist. Cockpit preparation completed. Passenger signs on. Aiders set. Fuel 139er 32 pounds checked. FMGS set. Altimeters set. Checklist complete.
Okay, again, just a reminder that if a checklist item is listed in blue, there is no internal value for FSFO to check, so it's just going to call it and move to the next item. White is he's going to wait for you to do your thing or set the system to the correct setting before moving to the next item. As you can see, since we had auto flow on and I failed to open the door, FSFO assumes that we are ready to start the before start flow. Normally what I would do is I would open the door during the pre-flight flow, but I was too busy talking and demonstrating to do that. And then the Copilot wouldn't start the before start flow until you close that door. So he's go ahead and he's starting the APU now, because the aircraft needs bleed air from the APU for the engine starts. So you can see he set the ECAM page to APU, and he's waiting for the N1 percentage to get to, I think, above 98%, if you will, and then he will go ahead and transfer power from the GPU over to the APU, and then go ahead and disconnect the GPU. So there we are. The APU is now available at 97%, and we just started the APU, and the APU is established, and now we're going to disconnect the external power, which we just did. Okay, so now you can see this message right here. The Copilot is asking us to go ahead and disconnect the GPU in the chalk. So we're going to do that now. Again, for PMDG aircraft, this is all available through the FMS. However, the electronic flight bag data is not exposed, so this is something that you'll have to do yourself. So I'll disconnect the GPU, it's gone, and then I'm going to disconnect the ground chocks, and then your Copilot automatically sees that you did that, and will move to the next checklist item, which is turning the fuel pumps on. And then the external lights, so beacon lights are on, just as to notify the ground crew that we are getting close to engine start. He just locked the cockpit door,
the aircraft door is closed,
right here,
and we will be ready for departure. In order for us to push back, we would require that all passengers are seated, with their seatbelts fastened and seats in the upright position. All carry-on luggage should now be either in the overhead compartments or under the seat in front of you. The cabin crew will be passing to make their final safety checks before departure. Thank you.
Okay, and I see my first bug, which isn't bad considering we're all the way through the pre-flights. The before start flow was not supposed to start until the cabin door was closed, and I see that it's open, so that should not have happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close the door, and I'm going to make an entry in my bug notebook here to make sure that that's fixed before releasing that. Again, I try to make all these profiles very similar. So if you're coming from, let's say, the PMG G737, there's nothing to read. It will work in the very, very similar way. That's just to reduce the learning curve. Okay, so now that the before start flow is done, I'm going to go ahead and perform the before start checklist in voice mode. And as usual, you activate voice by clicking the microphone down here. Before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Doors.
Closed.
Beacon light.
On.
Parking brake.
Set.
Checklist complete.
All right, as you can see, that was done all via voice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the voice controls to control pushback. But you know what? No, I'm not. I'll use button control. Believe it or not, more people use button than voice, which kind of surprised me. So let me go ahead and use the button control to go ahead and ask for pushback services.
Ground from cockpit.
Go ahead.
We're ready for pushback.
Connecting tug. I'll let you know when the pin is inserted.
Okay, so you can see rework the pushback sequence to be more accurate. It was not accurate prior to. There's Fsfo. It just removed the jetway for you. And it also connected to jetway for you as well. That's part of the ground service options. Again, in the prior videos, I go through all the configuration options. So, and if you ever have a question on what a configuration or what it is, you can just hover over the display, and there will be a tool tip that will tell you exactly what each one of these
steering inserted.
options do.
Release parking brake.
Okay, let's go ahead and release the parking brake.
Starting push. Clear to start engines.
Let's go ahead and start them. Now, if I wanted to put my voice mode back on, I could just say start engines, or you can just click the button here. Okay.
Starting engine 2.
You can move the nose right, left, or straight by just clicking these buttons down here.
Nose right.
Again, this isn't as good as some of the freeware pushback utilities on Flight Sim 2, but I like to think it's good enough, and hopefully will prevent you from having to use and load yet another program. That's the intent behind the new pack simulation that will be coming up too.
Nose straight. Stopping pushback. Set parking brakes. Tow bar disconnected. See you on the left side with the pin. Have a great flight.
We'll look for you on the left side with the pin. Thank you.
Okay, so there's the pushback is all complete.
Starting engine 1.
Engine 2, we see we got a good ignition over here, so now we're on to engine 1. Again, as you can see, I have, as the pilot, have not touched anything except for entering a few data into the electronic flight bag, as well as entering my SIDs and my stars and clearing the discontinuities. Again, if you prefer more realism, then you would want to set the Copilot programs. You set that to no. Set MCP to no. These are traditionally the piloting or the pilot flying task, but again, I want to showcase Fsfo's ability to do that. And quite frankly, it depends on what airline you fly for to who's responsible for what. So configure this how you want, and just know that it varies wildly between airlines. So as far as simulating real life procedures, you wouldn't be that far off in any mechanism.
Engine 1 cut out. Engine 2 cut out. All engines stable.
Okay, so we got both engines are stable. You should wait about 10 seconds, and then since we're in auto, the Copilot's going to go ahead and start the auto start flow. There's the external lights just went on, so the taxi lights just went on. Again, if it was nighttime, he would set the interior lights too. The spoiler just got armed, and the flaps are set to 2 again, if you recall. That's what we did by the MCDU page. Okay, so there's the Copilot. He just set his page to flight plan, and the pilot page goes to pref. That is the correct configuration for takeoff. All right, let's go ahead and run the taxi checklist, and I'm going to do that by a voice. Taxi checklist.
Taxi checklist. Flight controls.
Okay, just like the other aircraft, he's looking for full left, full right.
Full left. Full right. Full back. Full forward. Checked. Trim.
Okay, trim is something you do have to set yourself, if you recall. When we looked at the on the EFPD over here for the departure page, it listed. It listed over here on the departure page what your trim is. You see it's up 0.01, so you would just set that up 0.01 over here. So you see it right there. There's the pitch. The Copilot will go ahead and put this page up for you so you can see that. But we are good to go. Checked.
Briefing.
Completed.
Flaps.
Set.
FMA takeoff data.
Is checked. Checked.
Transponder.
Set.
Checklist complete.
As you can see, the transponder was set to TARA. That's for the VATSIM flyers. You typically need this before you push back, so ATC can see where you are on the tarmac. This was also set to above. When you're climbing out, you're not so concerned with the aircraft below you because you should be in a climb, so above you. And then when he gets to the cruising altitude, this will be set back to all, and then on descent, it will be set to below. Okay, so let's go ahead and taxi out to runway 15. And I have not configured or calibrated my throttles for this aircraft, so we'll have to see how this goes. Whoop, I think, yep, that's what happens when you don't configure your throttles. Let's go ahead and turn off the parking brake. Okay.
From the cockpit, this is your first officer. Just want to take a moment to welcome you aboard and thank you for flying with us today. Our taxi to the runway should be pretty uneventful, and we're anticipating an on-time departure. Just sit back, relax, and we'll have you in the air shortly.
Again, that is Fsfo. I also want to take note that these, you can see we're in managed mode for heading. That is based on, if you recall, we we'd set the SID to yes. So that's why he put that in managed mode. If you would have hit no, that would have been in what's heading select. So that's the significant of that route. I also want to bring your attention to the altimeter setting. There's another advanced option that individuals have asked for. If you come into configuration and you go into advanced options, and it will take me just change Bravo selector based on kilograms. So if you had the kilogram set as far as the options are concerned, give me a minute to find those. Right here, kilograms, it's off. If this was set to on, your Copilot would automatically set your altimeter reading to the metric setting. Again, that is based on this advanced option right here, change barrel selector based on kilograms. If you don't want your Copilot to check your selector, your barrels, just set that to no. Hopefully these advanced options are such where the names you can decipher or glean exactly what each one of them does from the name. Again, these don't add anything. These are ones and zeros. Don't put any spaces or anything like that after. These are very, very simple. Again, these are there based for user request. If users want something and I can do it, I will absolutely do it, and it will usually show up as an advanced option vice a setting. If you don't see the advanced options here, just hit this button here, create advanced option file, and it will go ahead and rewrite it to make sure that you have all the current settings. I'm adding to this all the time. Another one. Oh, there you go. Sorry. Let me go ahead and turn off my microphone. Actually, do I have a configuration to mute my microphone? I do not. Let's go ahead and set a button to mute my microphone. And there it is. That way I can turn my voice on and then hit that button. And as you can see, it just go ahead, it's mute and it's yellow. And then you can hit the button again and then it's active listening. Actually, I'm going to turn this off now because I'm going to use button mode. There is one other advanced option that I was talking about that I wanted to show you. A lot of people have hardware that manipulates the flaps in the gear. I get that, so you don't want the Copilot to set the flaps during the after start flow, or any time actually. Just set this to 0 here, and then the Copilot won't touch your flaps during the after start flow or the landing flow. That's to ensure that whatever your hardware settings detent doesn't get out of line with the sim settings. By the way, terrific aircraft. I don't think that's any secrets for the $40 or $50 I think I paid for. Probably the best value I've gotten in any simulator since the Level D 767 way back in the FSX. Believe it or not, that is probably still my favorite aircraft of all the time, based on how great it was. It surpassed anything at its time. When it came out, so far ahead of the competition. I appreciate the patience as we taxi out. Again, pretty not surprised. Probably shouldn't say that, but haven't seen any bugs. Everything has worked exactly how it should thus far. So pretty pleased with this aircraft. There is one portion I do want to use the voice on. So Fsfo actually has the ability to set your throttles for you and the correct detent based on voice commands. That's why I haven't bothered to calibrate my throttles, because I just use my voice, and the Copilot will handle the throttle for us. I'm going to go ahead and use before takeoff. I'm going to use voice for that too. Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Engine mode selector.
Set.
Tax.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Set.
Checklist complete.
As you can see, your
Flight
Copilot.
attendants prepared for takeoff.
Your Copilot went ahead and checked the takeoff configuration for you. The Copilot just set his clock. It's now running over there, as well as set all the lights. As you can see, the landing lights are on, runway lights are on, taxi lights are on. All those are on. I'm going to go ahead and turn. I'll turn voice off just so you can hear all the calls on the roll. But I want to use that to get to set the takeoff, if you will. You have to excuse me. I don't have rudders either on my developmental machine. Takeoff power.
Set.
See, you just moved the throttles to the correct detent, and now I'll turn voice off. Little forward pressure.
Thrust set. Checked. Speed alive. Checked. $80 knots. Checked. V1, rotate. V2,
All right.
positive rate. Gear up. Landing gear up. $400 feet.
And as you can see, since we have a manual, the Copilot went ahead and set the heading select, or heading mode, excuse me, talking Boeing terms. We're almost at acceleration altitude.
Acceleration altitude.
There it is. Let me try this. Climb power.
Set.
Autopilot.
As you can
Flaps
see,
1.
Command A on. Flaps 1.
see the Copilot is go ahead and setting all the flaps. He just turned the autopilot on. Again, this is because I'm in button
Flaps
mode.
up.
Flap 0.
If I was in voice mode, these are things I could do myself. So remember, we had a manual setting. This would be the time ATC would be giving us a vector to our first waypoint here. But I'm going to go ahead and just go to direct to that and insert.
Manage mode on.
And as you can see, manage mode, and the Copilot called that.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear.
Up and off.
Flaps.
Up, no lights.
Spoilers.
Off.
Checklist complete.
All right, and then the Copilot would go ahead and set all these other things based on the setting. Okay, let's go ahead and go up to our flight level 300. Everything looks good on the overhead panel, so the Copilot is doing exactly what he should be doing. You saw him raise the gear, you saw him set the throttles. What I may do is put an advanced option in there too, with the Copilot without being in voice, sets your throttles to the climb detent, if that's what people want. I know a lot of people use button mode, so if that's something you're interested in, please let me know, and I can easily add an advanced option for your Copilot to do that. Just turning the volume down a little bit. So what will happen next is once the aircraft exceeds 10,000 feet above ground level, you should see him turn off the landing lights. That's based on this setting right here, landing lights AGL. There are a couple other things I want to bring your attention to as we're talking about lights. The couple taxi to landing lights, and this is new, couple runway turn-off lights to landing lights. So what that does is essentially anytime the landing lights are on or off, the taxi lights would be on or off. Obviously, for taxi lights, that doesn't include
Passing 10,000 feet.
taxiing to and from the runway. As you can see, that's it. We just passed 10,000 feet, and all four of these were just turned off by the by the Copilot. Again, there are a lot of aircraft. It's SOP dependent. Your SOPs are your standard operating procedures. So some airlines operate differently. Most, especially European airlines, if you have your landing lights on, they require your runway turnoff lights to be on as well. Delta, for example, requires your taxi lights to be on when your landing lights are on. So that's why both those operating procedures exist. Now, another thing, while we're climbing up, our next event will occur at 18,000 feet, and what should happen is the Copilot should turn set standard pressure on your altimeters. So, if you choose to purchase the Fenix A320 and it's not working like I'm demonstrating here, the one thing I would ask you to check is please check your FSUI PC7. FSFO requires this ubiquitous program to be running and operating so it can read the values from your simulator. So what I would ask you to check is to come in here, go into add-ons, go into WASM, and if this right here said enabled, go ahead and click that and see if it activates all these other things. But if this reads enabled and all these are grayed out, then there's a problem with the FSUI PC configuration, and that is why your buttons are not working. I think we found a pretty good fix for this for the couple people that have had this issue. But 9 times, or actually almost 10 times out of 10, when somebody submits a request to say, hey, my switches aren't being set in the correct format, is because this right here is grayed out, and I can offer a fix for that. It's also in the guide, or will be in the guide by the time I release this. If you just go into support and you check the guide right here, just click this guide and it will bring it up. It's not in there yet, the fix action we found, but I think it's on page 11 and right here. So I will put the fix action in here. That's what I would please encourage you to do if you run into your Copilot's not setting your options correctly. All right, we're almost at 18,000 feet, so another thing I want to show you that you have to have configured in the Fenix Airbus.
Transition altitude.
Okay.
Checked.
There we go. The Copilot just set this to standard. So there we have it as we climb up to flight level 300. Okay, so if you are using the program FMS option during pre-flight that we've talked about here, you can see it's enabled for the Fenix. You must have your Fenix SimBrief user ID set. It has to be in there, and as you can see, I went ahead and I settings, and then you just put your numeric value here, which is the same value that you need in an FSFO too. Don't forget, you need to input your SimBrief ID in here as well as select the download SimBrief flight plan. What this does is when FSFO launches, it will automatically download your last flight plan from SimBrief. Essential if you're using the program FMC during pre-flight for both the PMTG 737 and the Fenix Airbus A320, as well as the fly-by-wire A320. If you're coming over from the fly-by-wire A320, it's fairly the same. So I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of wait until we get up to cruise altitude, and then I'll pause. But then I think we're going to go ahead and at least go through the descent too, so I can show you that your Copilot actually also will set your performance page for the descent as well. As you can see, the Copilot started his clock, so it's been 9 minutes since takeoff. I should have started my clock when we push back. That way we know the gate-to-gate time as well as the air time. And there was in the checklist screen, there was a prompt reminding me to do that, and again, I was too busy talking, so I missed that. Again, FSFO highly configured if you saw, because we were in button mode, which is anytime voice mode is not active, you're in button mode. The Copilot automatically engaged the autopilot for us, and that's based on this setting right here. Anything you see with an asterisk is essentially what will be performed if you're not in button mode. We talked about pre-flight flow delay. You can see delay between flows. This is set to 1 second. So if you wanted your flows to take a little longer, you can put this 1 through 10 in 10 second or 1 second increments. Excuse me, I had a cough there. The rest hopefully is fairly self-explanatory. I should have showed you this. I've showed this on other demonstrations. Checklist repeat delay set to 10 seconds. What this is if you ran a checklist and a setting wasn't set, your Copilot would wait for you to set that to the correct setting. He would wait 10 seconds and then he would repeat that checklist item and then keep repeating it every 10 seconds until you set it to the correct thing, or hit hold Control Alt, which you can always do to skip any checklist item. The checklist respond delay, what this is it allows you to set a time between let's say you set the setting to the correct setting, but you don't want the Copilot to respond immediately. You want to wait 2 seconds before he responds. You can set that here. Lots and lots of configuration options available with FSFO. Readback numbers, you heard him read back the fuel. That's based on this setting right here. So if you don't want him to read back numbers, if you just want him to say set, you can set that off right here. The rest, again, pretty self-explanatory. Again, you can always just hover over the label, and it will show you exactly what each one does. We get updated data that gives us our time remaining, our top of descent, and other pertinent information, our fuel data, and all that. I'm going to go ahead and go into Open Climb. Open Climb. Oh, I'm already in there. So if you wanted to, you could either go the other way. Manage Climb.
Set. Manage climb on.
There you go. Open Climb. Open Climb.
Set.
So there you go. You can see voice is quite capable of interacting with the Copilot, or excuse me, with the FCU. Fairly pleased with how this is working so far. Again, a couple beta testers that I use are just phenomenal. They hit everything, with the exception of a few bugs. The fly-by-wire, that's a bit of a hard aircraft because it's got a constant update. I've got a couple emails, I guess, already. The developmental has changed a lot within the flight controls, so constant update there. The Fenix, though, is a much more stable platform. Fantastic aircraft to work with. All right, so another 1,000 feet, and we will be at our cruising altitude. Probably should have set that to flight level 240 since it's only 200 nautical miles from Bangor to Boston. But we'll get up there, and then what I'll do is I'll take a look at our performance data for descent, and then we'll run that so you can see the Copilot.
From the flight deck, we've reached our cruising altitude. The flight attendants will begin their service shortly. In the meantime, please keep your seatbelts fastened as turbulence can occur at any time. Again, welcome aboard.
Okay. So there we are. We're at cruise altitude.
Manage climb on.
And what we'll do is we'll come over here and we'll go ahead and start looking at our descent information. Again, coming into the pilot brief. I am just looking for our estimated landing weight, which is 132.4, because we will need that as we come into our performance data here. All the data looks good. Apply the meter. Everything looks good. Landing weight, again, we said 132.4. And then auto brakes, yep, so everything looks right. Flaps full. That's what we want. Okay. Runway, I think we said 22 Lima. 22 Lima. There we go. Dry. And that's everything's good. So you can see there's our landing data right there. We look like we're good. So we'll set our landing brakes to to low, as there's plenty of runway, if you will. So all that looks right. We're going to set the auto brakes to low. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's run the descent checklist, and you should watch the Copilot hit the performance.
Descent checklist. Decision height.
Set.
Engine mode selector.
Set.
Checklist complete.
And now he's going to program the MCDU for descent. The Q&H, that's again, he gets that from SimBrief. So critical that you pull that down, along with the temperature. The temperature comes out of SimBrief too. And that's our decision height. So, okay, so the radio went in there of 200 feet is because you set a runway that has an ILS frequency. So
Approaching top of descent.
So
from the flight deck again, you probably already noticed we've started our descent. We're not anticipating any delays and expect to be pulling into the gate in about 20 to 25 minutes. Until then, just sit back, relax, and we'll have you on the ground shortly.
Okay, so now we saw the Copilot's asking us to put our V-speed, our VREF in there, which was computed at 134. Again, so the V2 and the VREF speeds are critical. If you want the Copilot to automatically set your flaps both on takeoff and landing, he calculates that data from your V2 to your VREF speed, and as you saw on the takeoff, it was fairly accurate. So, or it was incredibly accurate, I should say. We're going to go ahead and take another shortcut. We're going to go direct to Euro and insert that. It wasn't much of a shortcut, was it, guys? Let's go direct to ocean. Okay. What we'll do now is probably come down again. I'm going to pause it, and then our next event will be at flight level 180. And again, you should see the Copilot reset your altimeters. So I'll pause until we get to 19,000. All right, welcome back there, guys. So as you can see, we're at flight level 190. So the next thing that should happen is once we pass through 18,000 feet, the transition altitude, the Copilot should reset the altimeter here to the current setting, or to the landing runway setting, if you will. And then what we'll after that, we'll keep it going because there's some cabin messages that also play. Anytime you want to shut the cabin messages off to if you have another program that you choose to use, you could just set, it's right here, so cabin message, just set to 0, or excuse me, just turn that off, and you should be good to go.
Transition altitude.
And there it is, 299.4
Checked.
that was set on the MCDU page was also just set
Dear
into your setting.
passengers, as you can see, we have already started descent. Please fasten your seatbelts, return your seats to their upright positions, and store your luggage either in the overhead compartments or under the seat in front of you. The cabin crew will be passing by to clean the cabin and perform their final safety checks.
Okay, and there's the cabin announcements. Normally, I like to. There's a configuration within the audio. I have it both coming through my headset. Typically, for cabin, I have it through my speakers, just to give the ambiance of it coming from behind you. However, since I'm recording, I wanted you to be able to hear it through the single device. So that's how I would recommend it. Send the cabin through. If you have a headset, have the Copilot come through the headset and the cabin coming through speakers, just to give the ambiance of that. We went through the joysticks. Again, I kind of really didn't want to get into configuration, as there was plenty of other videos on that, but Fsfo has the ability to set buttons. I'm going to add to this too. There's been a few requests, so there'll be an option to add more buttons coming down the line, if you will. Okay, so the next big event will be at around 10,000 feet, and that's when the Copilot should turn on all of our or since we had, remember that option to couple runway lights and taxi lights to the landing lights, you should see all four of these come on. Voice commands, there are plenty of voice commands for the Fenix A320 for those of you who like to use voice. All the voice commands are listed in the guide, although I do have to update it for the Fenix. Essentially anything that's available for the fly-by-wire A320 is also available for the Fenix A320. It looks like I already did update it. So you're heading. So you saw the managed mode open climb. We already did that earlier in the flight. Takeoff power. This is in climb power. That's CRJ, but it's also for the Fenix too. Again, I think I will add the advanced option that automatically sets your detents to the climb detent if you once you get to acceleration altitude. I think that would be something that people will use. Okay, we're at 11,700, so we're just about at the point where we should be turn on our lights. So another thing to take note, the Copilot went ahead and sent his multifunctional display to the LS position. The reason why he did this is again because there was a frequency attached.
Dear passengers,
Excuse
we
me.
have reached an altitude that requires all electronic devices to be switched off, including video cams, laptops, CD and cassette players. Please make sure all of these devices are switched off.
As I was saying, the reason why he set that to the LS, and he, as you can see, both the ILS they were turned on to on the FCU, is because this runway right here has an ILS course frequency associated with it. So the Copilot's going to assume you're going to do an ILS approach, which is why he configured that to that setting. If you don't want your Copilot to be mucking around with the MFD, you could just set this
Passing 10,000 feet.
This option right here, you can turn that off, and then he won't touch the MFD display at all. As you can see, as we stated, do 10,000 feet, all the landing and the runway and the taxi lights just went on. Not sure there's too much to show, too much more to show, but let's go ahead and execute probably what's going to be a terrible landing because I have nothing set up on this. So nothing to see. I think there is another Copilot, or excuse me, another flight attendant message, but that's it between then and in the landing. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and execute the full landing. Let me get down to about 1,200 feet just so you're not suffering through this, and I'll come back and we'll just go ahead and finish it out. Okay, we're back. As you can see, we're just trying to intercept the I-22 left ILS.
Flaps 2.
We're at flight level. The co-pilots go ahead and automatically setting the flaps based on the speed. Remember we said the VREF, so
Flaps 3.
again, you can do all this via voice if that's what you choose.
Flaps 4.
And we are just about at VREF. And there's our, you can see it's we're starting to intercept the frequency now, or excuse me, the ILS. It's coming in the range. This is why, if you're flying an ILS approach, the Copilot puts it on LS, so you can have the best of both worlds. And there we go. We have intercepted the localizer. The Copilot will automatically set the landing gear based on the configuration option right here, 1,500 feet. I think I'm going to change that though at some point to base it on a flap detent. Normally you wouldn't be flaps full without your gear down. In fact, if you're in a Boeing, you're going to get an alarm, but thankfully Airbus doesn't do that. All right, so we're all set. We're established on the localizer for 22 left. We should be coming up on the glide slope here fairly shortly. We're 9 nautical miles out from the airport. Once the gear goes down, I will go ahead and execute the landing checklist. And so I see only two bugs thus far. You can see the Copilot did not set the auto brakes. So that's two. We need to fix the door and the auto brake, and those will be fairly easy to do. Mea culpa again. I have no rudders. I'm not even sure if I have brakes set for for this. So this will certainly be interesting. 7 nautical miles out. So far, the Copilot is performing almost perfectly. Few minor hiccups, two thus far. So happy about that. Okay, we are now on the glide slope, and some traffic again. We don't have any ATC, so this is just a test flight. So we're not looking for extreme realism on this one. Again, this aircraft is just a joy to hand fly. Again, if we were in voice mode, I could easily use my voice to command gear down, set all the flaps detent. You can do that all via voice too if that's something you choose. But since we're doing butt mode, we might as well just stay with it. Once it goes below 1,500 feet AGL, you should see the Copilot will go ahead and set the landing gear down, which is about right at about 5 nautical miles. So
Gear down.
and there it is, right on cue.
Landing gear down.
So there's our gear down. Let's go ahead and run the landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Cabin.
Notified.
Go round altitude.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Checklist complete.
As you can see, the Copilot also went ahead and set your
Flight attendants prepare for landing.
speed brake for you too. And again, since we're in butt mode, he should go ahead and disarm the autopilot for you. Again, he'll disconnect the autopilot at 500 feet. Let's say you want in butt mode and you don't want him to disconnect. You want to do that. Just set any of these with asterisk to 0, and then the Copilot wouldn't do any of those for you. And there you go. Auto throttle just went off. Again, that's a configuration
Watch the airspeed.
setting, and I wanted you to see that. The Copilot will watch the airspeed. Again, I don't have my throttle calibrated, so you'll have to excuse me.
Watch the airspeed.
And there you go. So you just turned off the autopilot for you. So this is going to be terrible without the throttles calibrated. You can see there's a plane right there landing. We got a parallel landing here, which is pretty cool, on 22 right. All right, so normally I'm not stable here. If you were flying real world, you would absolutely go around right here.
Minimums.
There we go, minimums. But since this is just a demonstration, we're going to go ahead and execute a terrible landing. And there we go.
Reverse idle. Speed brake out.
All right. Again, I'm not sure I have brakes.
100 knots. 80 knots.
And as you can see,
60 knots.
Without a throttle, it's a little.
Dear passengers, welcome to our
Little hard.
destination airport. Please remain seated until
Okay.
all docking procedures are performed and cabin lights are switched on. On behalf of the captain and his crew, we would like to thank you for flying with us. We hope you enjoyed your flight today and hope to see you soon.
Okay, and what we're getting now is we're getting errors that are associated with the throttle. I should have calibrated it before, so that's definitely my fault. So the Copilot's going ahead and setting all the after landing. As you can see, the landing lights were set in the off configuration. He went ahead and turned the flaps up, which reset the warning here, and then shut the throttle off. So it thinks we're in the takeoff configuration, or that we are. That's again based on the throttle settings. and I apologize for that. But as you can see, pretty good. What would happen now, since we're in auto flow, we would go to the gate. We're not going to do that. Go to the gate, you would just set your parking brake, and then as you can see, the Copilot's automatically starting or excuse me, he already started the APU when we land, but now he's going to establish the power before actually turning off the engines, which he will do here in a little bit. So there we have it, a fairly good flight, with the exception of just a few errors along the way. And there we have it. Unlock the cockpit door so you can go out it. Let's run the shutdown checklist. You can see all the lights were set to the correct format and everything.
Shutdown checklist. APU bleed.
And as you can see, the APU bleed should be
Set.
Y electrical pump.
And that
Off.
That was
Engines.
Off.
Passenger signs.
and should be off. They are off. So that's
Off.
Exterior lights.
So that's
As
the
required.
third
Parking
thing we have to
brake.
fit.
Set.
Transponder.
Set.
Weather radar.
Off.
Checklist complete.
All right, so we see three things that we have to fix. So, okay, so I want to show you what I was talking about earlier. As you can see, it also reset. So that's four things we have to fix. It shouldn't have reset there. So there we have it. That is FSFO. We have some cleanup things to do. There are four things there that I'll clean up before we get fixed on the landing side. But overall, fantastic flight. Everything worked mostly as it should. So this should be ready. I should be able to get those things fixed literally within 30 minutes. Hopefully get released today or tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, thank you for all your support of all the FSFO products over the last couple months. It's far exceeded my expectations, and truly enjoy conversing with some of you. Some of you are you're fantastic people, and really just enjoy the back and forth, and also your help. That's my the impetus, if you will, for trying to do better, to add the pack simulation. There will be a logbook coming too, so all your flights will be recorded, and that you can go back and you can look. And I'll soon have the ability to upload your flight data into the cloud, if you will. So lots of things coming down the road. Once we get the Fenix out, I'll shift gear from aircraft profiles and just adding to the robustness of FSFO. With that, have a great evening, and I hope to talk to you again soon. See you later.